some new stories.
We can talk for 77 more minutes, and I need a new battery.
Well, no, we were angels.
Wait, let her ask the question again.
Who got punished the most, and how did you get punished?
We were angels, her and I. We were the angels in the family.
Did you ever get punished?
We're horns.
I remember twice of being punished.
Well, not twice.
Twice.
Maybe 3 times.
The first time I was about 5 years old, and that was the only time that when I was young, that I remember when I was young, that I remember my dad punishing me. I was throwing a fit
Oh my God, she was a pit.
on the floor. I wanted to go to the store with my mother, and it was Saturday.
Okay.
She
I
was
think
doing
I
some
remember
shopping.
that, Maria.
And my mother said, no, you can't come because you're all dirty and I didn't clean you up yet, you didn't have your bath. And I just threw a fit on the floor. And Grandpa came in and he said, what is going on here? And he grabbed me by the arm and he gave me a crack on the butt and sent me up to my room. Oh, it was so painful. It's the first time I remember my dad ever giving me a crack. Not that I didn't deserve it, but I think and I cried.
Yeah.
And I cried.
I'm sure I remember that.
I think the whole flat rock heard it.
Yeah.
Then the next time that I was disobedient, I was older. I was about like 13, and we came to the supper table, and my mother had some kind of meat anyway. That
With all the panna.
huh?
With the kind of meat that all on the panna.
Yeah. What is that?
Like a corned beef steak.
Corned beef.
Corned beef, that's what it was.
We didn't like
And
that
she
at all.
had that on the table. And my dad was standing there, and I walked over and I went, ugh, what's that?
It
And
was more like standing.
my mother said, well, that's corned beef. And I went, oh. My dad took one look at me. You don't like what we have at this table? Up to your room.
And you had to go right away.
And I had to go
Oh
right away.
yeah. All Dad did to me that I could, but I think, because I wasn't quite as aggressive as my sister. But I think,
And I remember because, I was so hungry. And I remember Stanley and Donnie coming up after and bringing me a sandwich, but not with corned beef. It was a peanut butter sandwich that they sneaked up to me after.
yeah, well, no, I think if I remember Grandma, like Stanley was set up with, I remember her giving him something after. Grandma gave Stanley something after.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know how they got it.
Well, no, the same for you. She would have done the same thing.
I did.
So,
But I think
I did not criticize any food at the table.
oh no, oh
And to
no.
this day, I don't criticize it.
No, there was things that I didn't like either, but I never said them.
We were always taught, if you go someplace to eat, and if you don't like it, just say no thank you, or take a little bit, and just, mix it up, and, but never criticize.
did the boys get punished more?
Oh. They would use Grandpa's tools, and they'd misplace them. I mean, not real often.
No.
But once in a great while, somebody got a switch. They had belts some days.
Oh, right.
They used the belt. And a couple times, didn't do it too much. But Grandpa, when he wanted to correct us, he would just look at us.
Yeah.
And that was enough.
Yeah.
We knew right away, you did not do this, and you don't do it.
And the one that was spoiled the most,
Stanley.
no.
Oh yeah, my little man. They
She
call
was-
him my little man.
He was never, I can remember him sitting at the table, taking his mashed potatoes, I remember this always, and making a hole in it, and they pour the gravy in there, and nobody said anything. We didn't dare do that, but she was allowed to do that. I'll always remember that. But no, they spoiled.
Yeah, but remember, Mom had a hysterectomy.
Yeah.
And I think she knew there were kids.
Yeah.
There were kids.
That's the truth.
Because I was in charge for 2 weeks of cooking.
Oh, right.
And I just had
But
turned.
he was a sweet little
Yeah,
kid.
I was 14.
Well, you probably all spoiled,
Huh?
really. You probably all spoiled
Yeah,
him because
yeah.
he was the baby.
Oh, yeah.
And that's why I always felt sorry for Uncle Clarence.
Yeah.
He never created any problems. He was always like
He was,
there.
yeah, he was
He
just,
was just
he
there.
was just there.
He was just like, he was just a good little
Yeah,
kid.
yeah. But you know, Clarence never expressed himself, and when Jim died, I think,
Wasn't that sad?
yeah, that was, Uncle Clarence
Hard
never
as an
said nothing. It was hard on him because they were close.
Right, right.
And I don't think Uncle Clarence really got over it.
Right.
And I think to this day, he still
Yeah,
feels the
yeah.
pain of it.
Yeah.
Because he joined the army after. He
Yeah,
was going on 15 when it happened.
Yeah.
He would have been 15.
He never talked about it.
I think he just had turned 15 in March when
Yeah.
it happened.
That was so sad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, I can still feel it. If I want to go back, I can still feel the pain
Oh, yeah.
of that day.
Yeah, yeah.
So if you wanted to, if you had to describe each one of your brothers and sisters in one word, and you can't say anything,
Okay.
because you'll get describe your brothers and sisters just real quickly. What in like one word or 2 words? How would you describe Lorraine?
Our little mother,
Okay, Uncle Donald.
my big brother that loved to aggravate us,
Okay, Uncle Stanley.
Stanley, who knew everything,
And then Uncle Clarence was just there.
and Clarence, he was just there, a good little kid, and Jim, Jimmy was our little brother that was spoiled.
Okay, and then same for Grandma.
Huh?
Grandma. Describe Grandma
Very good mother,
and Grandpa.
very good father. They were strict, but good.
Okay. And then
Yeah, I pretty much agree with what she said. Donald was a tease.
Yeah, oh yeah. But he was a sneaky
Yeah,
tease.
Pretty sneaky tease?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was a tease. Uncle Stanley, like she said, knew everything.
Yeah,
but he really did know everything.
he did.
Well, he did because he'd go to Grandpa Roberts, and Grandpa Roberts, he'd ask Grandpa Roberts questions, and Grandpa would tell him all about Napoleon and all that.
Yeah.
Stanley remembered that stuff. He would tell me that in later years.
So he spent a lot of time with Grandpa.
Yeah,
She
he
had
did.
a really
Yeah,
good memory.
a good memory. And he was the artistic of the family, you know. Stanley, and then there was you, you were a very good sister. You were a good sister. And we got along good. We did.
But she was like a little mother, a mother hen.
Oh yeah, I watched over everybody, made sure they were all taken care of.
Yeah, and I'll be honest with you, I respected them. I did. You know, a lot of people, their older sister, they can't stand, they hate,
Right.
this, that. I was never like that. I
No,
always respected
we got
her.
along.
What about your older brother?
Because she was always right.
Yeah. No, we got along really good. We really did. We really got along good.
Who did you fight with the most?
We didn't really fight. We didn't dare.
Oh,
We
okay.
didn't dare fight. Really not.
I think we were afraid to fight.
Yeah, well, that's what I said. We didn't dare fight.
No.
And then it was Uncle, like you say, Uncle Clarence was the quietest, except for that one time he ran after me with a broom and chased me down the basement. And
Because he went on.
yeah, he went on my 18th floor. And then Jim, which was like my baby.
Yeah.
I mean, to him,
Yeah.
he was my baby.
He
You
was.
know, because I
He was.
practically
He's a
raised
sweet
him
little kid.
when I was home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what about when you were when you guys got sick?
What?
When you got sick?
When we were
When I got sick?
Yeah, when we were sick.
They did not take us to the
No.
doctor, but we always had raspberry.
Raspberries.
We always had
A jar of
canned
whole
raspberries
raspberries.
and toast. Plus, my dad would give us a little shot of whiskey in some water, and a little, maybe just a teaspoon
Yeah.
or something.
So they got sick all the time.
Yeah.
And we didn't think anything of it.
Well, no, that's what they did years
But
ago.
really and truly, we never, and the hot water bottle,
I guess, right?
and maybe an aspirin or something. But
I don't even remember. Maybe you. I never had an aspirin today.
Huh?
I don't remember having an aspirin. I might have, but maybe you did.
I can remember of Ma giving me an aspirin because I can remember when I started, being a young lady. Oh, to me, I thought everybody was supposed to go through that with pain.
Mary and I went through the same thing.
Huh?
She must have gave me an aspirin. I don't remember. But I never went to school that Tuesday.
And I didn't know any better, but I would tell her, and she'd say, well, just take that. But
Did she have homemade stuff that she gave you? Like, would she make certain medicines?
Well, yeah,
and
she
that?
would make onion plaster. Cook onions.
Keep talking for the back. Yeah, what kind of medicine did she make?
what was that?
Onion. She boiled onions on the stove and make a syrup out of it.
Oh,
And we would take that for coughs. We
Oh,
had a
really?
bad cough.
Oh, I did.
I remember that real well.
I thought it was honey.
No, she'd make us, maybe she had the honey to it, but I don't remember honey. But she'd make a syrup with it, and then we'd have the syrup like for cough medicine.
We did have cough medicine.
Yeah,
That must
she
have
would
been-
make that, and then she had a mustard plaster that she
Yeah.
put on us, out of mustard,
And
and then with a
Vicks.
hot pot
Vicks.
and Vicks,
Vicks.
and she would warm a cloth up for us and put it on us, to loosen our chest stuff. It was pretty simple. We didn't have a whole lot of nothing, but those things really helped us. They seemed to really help us.
Because I had sore throats all the time.
I did too. Well, we both had a time.
Sore throats all the time.
And Stanley did too.
Yeah.
If they had one story they would like to carry through, what would it be?
What?
If you had one story that you'd want to carry on to the next generations, what would it be? About how your life was back then.
I would say it was very joyful. A lot more joyful than today. It was less stressful.
I
It
can
was
hear
hard.
that.
If you had to tell one kind of sum up your childhood?
For future generations, for the little kids that are out there. Your future
What
great
story?
grandkids.
What story would we want to?
Yeah.
What
What
did
would you like to-
from childhood?
Philosopher.
Oh my gosh. How do you sum it up to one story?
What would you say your childhood was like?
Oh, well, I say it was a very good childhood. Very, very good. The discipline didn't hurt us. Our religion, we had to go to church, was great.
Catechism?
Catechism,
Oh, yeah.
had to go to church.
Did you walk to church to catechism?
Did we walk yes, we did.
Yeah, we walked to town
As we
hall
got
and the
older,
church
we
burned
walked.
down.
But
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
we had I'd say we had a very good upbringing because you didn't have all that outside influence like they have nowadays.
Well, they had no television. We didn't have nothing, no movies.
Right.
We read a lot of books.
And
We did a lot of reading.
No, when you grew up, there was an outhouse. But did you grow up with still an outhouse? Or
What?
they have indoor plumbing when you were?
Oh no, not till after we were
they
out.
got it, yeah,
Maybe
when
when
I
she
was
got married.
probably,
When I got married, Mary, they did not have it.
didn't they?
No, 1948, they did not.
Are
1949,
you sure?
no, we did not have it. So all we had was the sink, but we did not have the stool, and we did not have the shower yet, the bathroom.
Okay, well, we must have got it about 1950.
Yeah.
Where was the outhouse?
In the back of the garage.
The outhouse?
Yeah, yeah.
In the back of the garage?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, there was a garage there?
Yeah, a brick garage.
That garage has always been there.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
Well,
but
mostly.
except how Barbie, built her own. Yeah.
No, but when you were little.
Yeah.
Well, it was
No.
a wooden one, and then Grandpa made a brick one,
Okay.
so it was behind that.
So what other toys do you remember Grandpa making? Because when we were kids, he made all these little statues and toys and everything. These little animals that their hands would
Oh,
move.
puppets,
and-
yeah, but that was Uncle Henry's.
No. Grandpa would make these little wooden things with
Yeah.
a little wooden,
Oh, yeah,
not
yeah.
a puppet, but they were.
Oh, I see.
Marionette.
Yeah, marionette, yeah. Okay, yeah, I remember that.
Not even that, I remember. I think they were on a stick.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't remember what other things he made.
Nothing, he didn't have time.
No.
So it wasn't until we were
No,
that he
probably
made that
not.
kind
He
of stuff.
started maybe making some of that.
So he is artistic qualities. We
Oh,
didn't
yeah.
have it till we were older.
One thing I remember my dad doing is drawing these pictures, these cowboy pictures.
You remember those as a child too? Huh? As a
Oh.
child?
That's all-
He did those cowboy pictures when you were little?
That's
When
all
you were
we-
young.
Yeah.
He always made those.
Always.
That was his signature mark.
Is that why they called him cowboy?
Yeah,
Yeah. The flat truck cowboy.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Why did they call him that? Because of
Because
those pictures.
well, he had a horse too. Remember?
Yeah,
Grandpa
because
had a
he
horse.
just always drew those pictures all the
Yeah.
time.
He also had a horse, and he had the whole thing for to ride a horse.
Nobody got a picture of that?
Well, I
Yes,
don't.
we do.
On the horse? Yeah. Yeah, we do.
I had some made
Yeah,
and
where is it? I never seen that.
I gave the kids each some.
On the horse?
I'm a kid, I don't have
Well,
one.
not on the horse, but of his whole cowboy.
Okay, that
yeah.
works too though.
Yeah, yeah.
How can we get a copy of that?
I got one at home, but don't ask me where it is.
I remember Mother had given me an envelope with these pictures in, and she said, "Go down and get some made," and I did, and I gave one to copy to each of the kids. Did Uncle Don ever show you any?
No.
Okay, I gave it to Lorraine and I gave it to Claire. And if I did, now if I did not, I probably still have mine at least home. I will, when I go through my well-organized picture boxes,
Right.
I will get some made, and I promise I will take some. No, they don't.
Okay, so the Uncle Ernest had his little peddling company.
Yeah.
So, and you guys lived in Flat Rock. So in Grandma Rubens was very an activist, kind of helping people out. Were Grandma and Grandpa involved in the community, like the church, and were they involved at all?
Church.
Yeah, Grandma was involved with the Alta Society.
Okay. Oh, that's right.
Uh,
But even when you were little.
Not so much when we were little. She probably started maybe when we were more in our teens to go to the Alta Society.
And you know, when they had the Flat Rock picnics,
Oh yeah, they were.
my mother and Aunt Belia would cook all the potatoes and
Yeah.
things down, I mean, in the house
Yeah.
and mash them, and we would carry them
Yeah,
over.
they all had a job to do.
Okay.
You know, and then they bring it over to the.
They cooked potatoes all
Yeah.
day long.
Yeah, and
And
peel.
mashed them and brought
Yeah.
them
Wow.
over there.
Sounds like fun.
So what were these Flat Rock picnics?
Fourth.
Oh,
Usually
the 4th
fourth.
of July.
No, when
Was
the
it the
church
fourth?
had their picnic.
Oh, the church.
Yeah, when the church, what was it? No, it could have been in the court. Must have been in July though sometime. Was
Oh,
it in
yeah,
July
yeah,
sometime?
yeah, it was in July.
I think it was in July.
I don't know if it was on the, no, it wasn't on the
No, I
4th.
couldn't got it today.
But they had their yearly chicken, dinner.
Yeah.
And, it was a family style. And that's when Aunt Melina and Grandma Roberts would do. They would cook.
And then someone made pies.
Yeah.
Someone makes the chicken. They had chicken once. Chicken. They had-
She made chicken too, I think.
Yeah, I thought she did too.
Yeah, yeah.
But whoever had chickens, they would
Right.
kill their chicken.
They made a lot of it.
Yeah.
Because
Well,
they
all
used
the
to
Flat Rock
carry
showed
them
up.
over.
All the Flat Rock probably showed up.
Everybody showed up.
Yeah, well,
I mean,
then
from-
even as
in
Canava,
town.
Gladstone,
Oh, right.
I remember serving at the tables.
Yeah.
The food, we had to do the serving. Remember that?
So Grandpa sang and he was very musical and very artistic. And Grandma, she wasn't a singer. Or
no.
Oh yeah,
artistic.
Grandma could sing.
But she crocheted,
Yeah,
you know, she crocheted a lot, Grandma did.
She could do what?
You know,
crocheted.
Shame.
Yeah.
she crocheted a lot.
Grandma was a singer. She would sing, now Ruth and Rachel, I've been thinking what a grand world this would be if all men were transported way beyond the northern sea. Honest to God, just where I heard her from, she would sing that song, and I often wonder why she's singing that song for. It did. Did you remember that? Oh my gosh, yeah, she would sing that song every now and then, and I learned it by heart because I love singing it.
Well, what was it?
Reuben, Rachel.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think
Yeah.
what a great world
That
it
one.
would be
Yeah.
if all nations were transported.
I think she just liked it because it was moving.
Yeah, that's probably why. I think that was why she learned it. Yeah, but it was the same spelling.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wait, way beyond the northern sea.
Now, did you know anything about your aunts and uncle, or your great aunts and uncles in Belgium? Did she talk about Belgium? Because remember, most of her family stayed in Belgium.
Yeah. No, she did not that I.
Not a whole lot except for her Uncle Paul and Uncle Peter and her grandma's oldest aunt was named Mary, I believe. Not sure. She owned a boarding house in Marquette.
Mm-hmm.
Mary Rubin?
Aunt Louise.
No, not Aunt Louise.
Okay.
No.
Another
If,
one?
okay, now Mary or whatever her I forget. I'm just saying.
No, Mary works. Mary works.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay. Now I think Aunt Louise was her daughter.
Okay.
Because it was a first cousin of Grandma, Aunt Louise. We used to call her Aunt
Unless
Louise.
the name was Mary Louise. You know how some
Well, it
call
could
her-
have been.
yeah.
But anyway, it was her. Look, I remember Aunt Louise. We used to call her Aunt Louise.
Well, all I remember myself is Aunt Louise.
Yeah,
because
well,
we
that
went
was-
there about
right.
maybe 2 or 3 times.
Oh yeah, here. We used to go there, yeah.
That must have been a trip.
Oh yeah.
Big trip.
Oh my, on
Oh,
a Sunday,
yeah.
oh my land, we thought we were going
The
across
first
the
time
world.
I went there was with Aunt Virginia, and I was quite small. And the second time I went there too, it was with Aunt Virginia.
So Aunt Virginia would do stuff with you.
Huh?
Aunt Virginia would do things with you.
Yeah.
When
Oh
she
yeah.
would-
When she came, she had a big car.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So were you, because I know, it was unusual. A lot of people were French, but a lot of people didn't have family still in another country.
Right.
So that wasn't, but that you didn't think of, that was never discussed, that Grandma had aunts and uncles in
Oh
Belgium.
yeah.
Oh
Okay,
yeah. In fact, a couple went back to Belgium during the war before World War I.
Right.
And they never could get out.
Right.
Were you there at the time we went to Marquette and Grandma was there upstairs
Yeah. Oh yeah. My
and
God.
we went,
That was when Aunt Louise died. No,
Yeah.
wait now.
Grandma and Rubens would not come downstairs because Aunt Virginia was there.
Yeah.
And she was divorced.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's why they never.
That's true.
Yeah, it is true.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Oh no, you were for? Wasn't it for Aunt Flora? Aunt Flora, who died? It was Aunt Louise's husband.
I don't know.
It wasn't Aunt Louise. I don't think we stayed at her house.
I have no idea. But anyway, all I remember is Grandma not coming down.
Oh, I remember that
Because
too. Oh, I remember
Aunt
that real
Virginia
good.
was there and she was divorced.
Yeah,
and she-
I remember that so good. Oh,
And
yeah.
Grandpa was passed by then?
No, Grandpa would talk to Aunt Virginia.
Oh, he would?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
Grandpa would talk to Aunt Virginia.
she'd sneak over there, I guess, and talk to
Yeah, he'd go down and he'd talk.
Aunt Virginia loved her father.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely loved her father.
Yeah, because she went hunting. They first had 4 girls,
Oh, okay, right,
Yeah.
right.
and then one first died of pneumonia, 4 years old. So he used to take Aunt Virginia and go hunting with her, and they used to kill rabbits. I mean, small game. And that's how Aunt Virginia got to love animals. Although,
By killing them?
well, that was her food, you know.
I get why. I just think it was funny the way you said it.
Yeah, I
Used to
guess
go with her dad and shoot animals.
I
That's how she
get
fell in
it.
love
I
with
get
them.
it. Sounds. It sounds very good, didn't it? But anyway, it was delicious, evidently.
Sure.
But not
But
dogs,
you know,
Heidi, not
isn't that
dogs.
sad when you think about how people back then would think about somebody being divorced? It was
But
like,
Marianne, that was the religious. That was the religious.
I
People,
know,
not the Christian
isn't
people.
that awful?
They were following a religion, the doctrine of a religion. Was not the doctrine
Well,
of
if she would have
Christianity.
waited around long enough, Auntie Virginia ended up marrying him again. So Grandma just needed to stick around. Because Aunt Virginia married him later.
You know?
Back again. 50 years later, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah. He was in it while he was dying.
Yeah.
Right, right.
So we need to go back to Marquette. Mary or Louise or Mary Louise owned a store in Marquette.
She owned a boarding house.
A boarding house. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then that's how come Grandpa and Grandma all came from Belgium and stayed with her.
Okay.
First, Grandpa
Oh,
came
okay.
over and he stayed there, Grandpa Rubens. And I think maybe within a year after, Grandma came and stayed there. And then they got married within a week after.
So this is Henry, right?
No.
I mean, no, not Henry. This is
Grandma Mike, your Grandma Rubens.
What were their
and Grandpa
names?
Rubens. Odelia Rubens
Odelia. Yeah.
was Grandma Rubens,
And his
and
name?
Louis.
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 Okay.
But Mary was already here.
Yeah, Mary came
She
over.
came over with Peter and Paul.
Yeah, evidently that's how it happened.
Do you have a picture
And
of
I don't know who she was married
Grandma
to.
Rubens' wedding?
Do we have a picture of Grandma Rubens' wedding?
Grandma
Do you
Rubens.
have one?
Oh, yeah, I gave you one.
Probably,
She
I don't
gave you a
remember.
lot of stuff. I don't know where you put it.
Yeah.
But you don't
I gotta
ever
look
remember,
around for
it
that.
probably didn't happen, that no one, while you were growing up, people from Belgium never visited. When you were growing up.
The
Oh,
only
yeah.
thing I remember is this. When Aunt Virginia went over Belgium, there was a cousin that came back with her. You heard about that. And she stayed with her a while.
Right.
And all she did was complain about the United States. She didn't like it.
Aunt Virginia
and
said-
Aunt Virginia kept her back.
Yeah, I mean, she had to be waited on.
But
for-
you were older by that time.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, we were
But so you
married.
don't remember when you were children of anybody visiting from Belgium?
No.
No.
Okay.
And I will say this, Grandma Rubens never wanted to go back to Belgium, never had a desire to visit.
Really?
My mother told me that.
Yeah.
That
Oh,
my
yeah.
mother was very content to be
Yeah.
in the United States.
But-
She was
but-
very happy.
Yeah,
We
but
do
she
not.
had lost most of her family.
do not.
Yes, yeah.
You know, early
not
too.
I have a photo of
Oh, okay.
grandmother's wedding.
Yeah.
We don't have a photo.
But she has one. She gave her one.
She said she did. I have to look
You
for
don't
it.
have a photo?
No.
I gotta look for it. I don't know if I
'Cause I
have.
know I've got one.
I know my mother had one. That's all I remember. I don't remember ever having one. I might have it.
When we
mom
come
had
back, I'm staying at her house.
Yeah,
I
Did
know
you hear that?
I know my
When we
mother.
come back, we're staying at your house.
Yeah.
You will
With
get
the
a
dog.
picture.
Hey, with the dog.
With the dogs.
With the
Oh,
dog.
no.
Okay, so any stories that did you have any, you had a cat. Do you remember the names of your cats?
We didn't
Oh,
name it.
yeah.
We didn't name our cat. Anything.
Poopsie Bowser and Bernie.
Oh, that's her cat.
That's your cat.
That's
But when
her.
you were growing up, cats.
No, they were all
Oh,
kitty.
you mean growing up
They're
cats?
all kitty. Kitty, kitty, kitty,
Kitty,
kitty,
kitty.
kitty, kitty, no matter what cat,
Oh, I
kitty,
thought
kitty,
you
they
meant
all come running.
At home.
Okay, is there any story that you thought of while we were talking that we didn't ask?
Well, there was probably a lot in between,
yeah.
but it would have been too long. We'd be here all night, you know.
You did really well.
There's
Yeah.
probably a lot of
Oh, yeah, there was a lot in between that
Now
we
that you
came
open up
with.
my mind,
Yeah.
there's nothing like looking at old pictures
Oh, right.
to remind you of, you know.
Yeah,
And she has a box at home
I know, we never went through yet.
that we
Her
never
and I were
went through.
supposed to go through it. Remember I told you
Yeah.
that?
You know what we should have done? We should have had her come over to your house and we should have gone through the
There
box.
is a picture in there, and I know she has
It
it,
could be,
of my dad's wood pile and my mother's canning, because my mother canned.
she used to can when you
Dad,
were
I got a picture. Did you give it to me?
Huh?
Did you give that picture?
I don't have that picture.
Well, I don't either, but I must have seen it, but my had it then.
I've never seen it in that box,
Oh, you do, okay.
but I don't have it
Yeah, well then I got it in that box.
in that box, yeah.
Must be that
Who was the picture taker, grandma or grandpa?
grandma.
Of Grandpa,
And then we all took a little bit.
of Grandpa's just a wood pile, and of Grandma, it's just down in their basement, all her jars. Now, I do not have that picture, but I
It had to be
know
in that box.
it's in that box.
Yeah, yeah. I remember the picture.
Because the pictures that Grandma gave me, I still, I think, have the original envelope, because she wrote on there, and now she did that about before they moved in Bishop Noah home. And she said, here, Mary Ann, are these pictures. And she said, you get some made and give one to the kids. And I know I did it.
Yeah, well, I'm sure you did.
I know.
But if
And
I could find it.
If they say they don't have it, You're
no.
lying.
Well, no, I didn't say I didn't have it. I said I didn't.
And I will admit, if I still have them, I'll confess.
Okay, so go ahead.
But I'm sure you did because you gave. I know you gave me some, and I have them
Yeah.
in a box somewhere.
Yeah, yeah.
Grandma kept a weather diary.
Did she?
Yeah, she did.
She threw
But
it away.
well, no, Grandma didn't want it no more. I asked Grandma, and she said I don't want that. So I figured, well, why keep it? I don't need either.
Oh,
So I threw that away.
you're kidding.
Yeah, she had every well, not
Okay, now we're gonna start fighting.
Hey, no. Hey, she just kept that weather for the last few years.
Right,
It
okay.
wasn't a whole thing from the beginning. Just for something to do maybe the last 2-3 years. And my grandma said no. I don't. I remember the weather thing. She said no, I don't want that. She said. So I sure didn't want it. And I don't think you would have wanted it for the last 2 years. I don't think you would have wanted the weather thing.
Yeah.
Gosh,
I thought it was longer than that.
no.
But you know, I hate throwing stuff away.
That's why we're gonna stay at your house next time.
You should see, but her treasures are worth money. Mine
My
are worth nothing.
closets
Yours are worth
so
everything to us.
filled
Well,
with-
yeah, the papers cover
Hey,
it, but I
at
mean,
my house, you can sleep on the floor.
That's fine.
hey, they're not fussy where they sleep.
I sleep in my bed. Uncle John sleeps in the back bedroom. Our daughter's old room. Yeah, everybody loved it. All the kids couldn't wait for her to move out so they could move in there. Just a little tiny room. And the room the boys had, that's our TV room, junk room. Just terrible. That's where I got all the pictures. I mean, I've gotten worse as, you know, I used to talk about people like me. Now I talk about myself.
Yeah,
Because
because she's still taking pictures, and I stopped the last 5 years.
I know
You're
it.
still taking pictures.
I still take pictures.
Yeah, I took that out.
And now
It was getting ridiculous.
our daughter married, she married a man that has 3 daughters, and they're having kids, and they sent me pictures too, which I love, I'll be honest with you. So I got all these albums, and when they send me pictures, I try to put them in there, but I love pictures. I love
Yeah, well, I
pictures.
do too. I love
If you ever
pictures.
want to make me happy, send me a picture.
Yeah, I got boxes and boxes of pictures. I got boxes and boxes, but I gotta find them.
Oh.
Well, when we go over there, we scan
Oh, yeah.
all the pictures onto.
But you know, I got a little thing that I can put my pictures in and scan them on one of those little things. I started doing that last year, so I only got probably about 150 scanned, but I have like thousands to go yet.
That's all right.
And one, my granddaughter said, "Grandma, you'll never live that long." I said, "Thanks a lot."
You should have told her you just watch
I
her.
said, "Well, then you do it then."
Yeah, well, you probably won't.
But you know what? You take these pictures, always write who is in there, because people won't know.
No, well, Grandma was the person I now written on.
I know it.
And I regret it when Grandma wanted to go to those pictures one day when I was there
Yeah,
in the Fish and Noel home.
yeah, yeah.
And I wasn't able to because there was just too much going on then.
Okay.
And I said, Ma, I haven't got time. But I regret that now,
Oh,
that I
right.
didn't take the time. But there was, I think because I was so exhausted from, you know, coming day and night, traveling back and forth. And then I had to go home, and then, you know, we still had grandchildren, didn't we?
Yeah, I
But
know.
they were pretty good.
Yeah.
But it wasn't that part. It was going into the house and trying to straighten the house out. You know, which we all helped out. I think I was just totally exhausted.
Because
so
when Grandma was there, she was a grandmother, and she had, and I didn't have, well, I had some, but not as many as she had.
I know, but you just weren't started.
Huh?
You
I was just
started
started.
because you didn't have a. Remember, I was a grandmother at 41,
right,
and she was a grandmother at 51 or 50.
And then for a while,
she
my
had 10 years of
grandkids moved
freedom.
away for a while, and then, you know,
Yeah.
they moved back after. When my ex-daughter-in-law
Oh, right.
Went to nursing school in South Dakota, which I wish he lived there now. Forgive me, Lord.
But anyway, all I know, the worst part of my life was when Valerie moved to Spain.
Why is this my fault?
No.
I was 4.
No, you weren't.
When we moved to Spain?
You were supposed to, because,
Well,
3.5, well,
yeah,
he was 6 months old.
He was 6
Okay,
months.
so I was 3.
I know, but that's the time. You stayed with us about 2 months before, or 3 months before. You came in August and left right before
Yeah, we kept
Thanksgiving.
popping in and out, in and out.
And they were living with us.
See,
And,
I couldn't hear what she's saying.
yeah, I know, but those kids,
When we were
you
moving
were
to
my,
Spain,
yeah,
Oh,
you were the
She
center
almost
of
had
my,
a nervous breakdown.
yeah, you were the center
Oh.
of my life then.
I mean, I can
And-
remember going up there one day,
And I just cried
and
and
she
cried
just
and
sit in the
cried.
backyard crying
I
and
was
crying
just,
and crying.
I finally had to go. I was
I
so
mean, she cried
Come
over
to
you
Spain.
guys.
I would go
Come
to
to
the,
Spain.
I would go to Kmart. Well, yeah, that, and then Dad got laid off for 6 months.
oh, right.
That was the hardest time of my life. Well, then I remember going to Kmart, and just one woman I talked to, and then I'd start crying. I go somewhere else, I'd start crying.
Perfect.
Well, finally, I got so stressed out, I went to the mental health, and they gave me some medicine for anxiety. But I'll tell you one thing. You know, we got to put God first in our lives. I was putting my grandkids first in my life. God got a hold.
That was good.
God got a hold of me and took this away. And I had to draw.
Then she didn't care about us anymore.
No, then I had to draw closer to the Lord. That's where I had all my encounters with the Lord.
Heidi's probably gonna cut a little bit of this up into like a 15-minute video, maybe not right away. She'll take this footage, and what she does is she'll take parts of it, and she'll put it on YouTube, and Jimmy and Mary and those guys can see it if they want.
Yeah.
On YouTube?
Yeah. No, just not all of it, just little bits of it. So just for your kids, not for everybody.
Okay.
Because we put it on someplace and we put a password so not anybody can get to it.
Okay. So in other words, if they want to see this, they can go to YouTube.
But it's not going to happen right away. We'll let you know when
or
it
when it
happens.
does. But nobody else can.
Right.
You're sure?
Yeah.
They'd have to know the password.
Okay.
So if your kids give other people the password, we can't have any control over that.
they will. Our kids are very, very, how would you
Responsible.
say? No, yeah, and they don't, how would you say it?
They're
They-
private.
Yeah, they're very private. Mary doesn't have Facebook or whatever.
Okay.
She said, Mother, I don't want everybody knowing what we're doing. Gary in California, they don't have it either. And Jim and Carol, they do, I think, have something like that because Jim's oldest daughter lives out of town and they
Yeah.
send pictures to each other and stuff. They talk to each other.
Right.
Which I don't understand, none of that.
Right.
But you know what YouTube
But you
is.
know what YouTube is.
Huh?
But you know what YouTube is.
Yeah. I don't understand that stuff.
All I
to
know
me
is that they can, once it's there, they can't erase it.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, YouTube you
You
can.
can?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can. Because we erase it all the time.
Oh, you do?
YouTube you can,
Oh,
yeah.
you can?
Facebook, well,
Yeah, well, they say the whole world
Okay,
knows that.
because like now, some of these people have like Facebook and, or whatever they have.
gosh, no
and
wonder
they
I
have all
couldn't
these
see
friends.
Glasses.
Share.
And they share, and all this information goes to like,
Oh, it goes all over the
people.
world, Marianne.
And before you know it, your picture shows up someplace
Oh, yeah. That's what I don't like about that.
because Tom Flaxton
My glasses are terrible.
took a picture of me and Dad, and Uncle John, and Mary and Bob over at the Drifters one morning. About a week later, I seen somebody, they said, oh, we seen your picture on this or that, and I thought,
Oh, yeah.
why?
I know.
I said,
Well-
they said, oh, you were on whatever it was.
Oh.
Yeah, but Marianne, do you know that people have cameras up? They can take your picture anytime.
Yeah, I know what.
And they can, sure,
But I
we're
didn't-
not private no
I
more.
couldn't get over that. And
I'm taking your
somebody
picture
said
right
to
now.
me,
Huh?
I'm taking your picture right
Still
now.
taking it?
happy
Yeah.
to have friends.
I can cut all this
She
stuff
shows
out.
it.
It's all digital.
This
I
is
didn't
my
know you were
family.
still taking it.
And they said, you should feel flattered.
Jeez. I'm gonna save that.
I thought that was
Well,
hilarious.
he's related to you through Uncle John, right? Uncle
First
John?
cousin,
Yeah.
first cousin.
Yeah, our next door neighbors are related to her. Grandma's next door neighbors are
The
related to
Flagsteads.
her through her husband.
Carol next door and my husband are first cousins.
So if it wasn't,
I don't wanna
for-
hear about it.
If it wasn't,
Yeah.
if they're not, if we can't be
Yeah,
related by blood, they we marry into it.
Yeah, that has nothing to do with our family too much, but
Yeah.
No, but it's just
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
they're,
that's
they're
true.
related
It
to your
starts
sister
to
now.
it starts to scare Heidi.
I mean, it goes to show you that way back we're all related. We're all related.
I know it.
But I wanted to mention one thing though.
You know, that's really close, you know, related, you know, first cousins.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know.
I wanted to mention one thing that stuck out in my mind. That's that I always remember. That our dad always knelt by the bed every night.
See what?
Knelt by his bed every
Yes,
night with the
yes.
kitchen door open and said his prayer.
That is true.
That I can picture. If I was, like I told the girls before,
Yeah.
if I was an artist,
Yeah.
Oh,
I
it would
could
take-
draw that right to detail because it's ingrained in my mind so much. And Grandpa used to always tell everybody he could hear it, pray, pray. He used to tell the young boys, pray, my boy. He used to always call us my girl. Never by name. It was always my girl, my boy.
Yeah.
He called everybody my girl, my boy.
Oh, even if they weren't his
Even if they weren't.
And do you know something? There were things that had happened in our family that my mother and dad could have repeated to people and
Oh
stuff
yeah,
like that.
they didn't know.
They never did.
No.
They never reminded
No.
anyone of the wrong that, you know, or something that happened. They never did. And I always admired them.
Yeah.
And I
And,
thought, you know, that's a lesson.
yeah, and not
Yeah.
a lesson, but they always had, I mean, if it's somebody like at Virginia,
Yeah.
they never held it against anybody that were alcoholic or divorced.
Yeah.
They were always, never talked about it. They were welcome in our homes.
It was, with Grandpa being a barber, he probably knew a lot of things
Oh,
about people.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
He probably could have.
And he gave a lot of free haircuts to people who could not afford it. He would charge him
Oh, yeah.
25 cents a haircut.
And I can remember at
Yeah.
one time of a family, I'm not gonna say the name, a Flat Rock, they came over, they'd come over like once or twice a year to get a haircut. He never charged them and they'd bring him potatoes. I'll
Yeah.
always remember.
Which was
Yeah.
good because Grandma had to cook those potatoes for the,
Yeah,
for the
but they,
picnic.
yeah.
But I mean,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
not something, they'd give him some potatoes.
Right.
And he would cut the whole family.
Yeah.
Because I remember he'd always come upstairs after with
And try,
everything.
make fried potatoes
He
for us?
would boil it because he was afraid that they'd have lice.
Oh, oh, the potato, that
So
I
I'm not gonna
I don't
mention the
remember
name.
that, I don't remember that very well.
Well, and people were
Yeah.
poor and they didn't have.
Yeah.
I mean,
Because of what he did that.
Yeah.
They're coming into,
It doesn't have the third.
well, this was good.
Well,
yeah, well, Heidi probably cut half of it off, all the bad stuff,
are you ever gonna retire?
keep all the good stuff.
No,
I don't think Jim will either.
that's why I'm in real estate now.
Huh?
That's why we're in real estate now.
I know.
Real estate, because you don't have to retire.
Yeah.